Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, July 1st, 4:52 p.m. Eastern Time. Coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state, we are still in an uptrend. And if we take a look at the trend gauge over here, market leaders, green arrow, although today was a very big rotation day, and I'll get into more of that later on in the video. Short term, we're trending above that 21 EMA and still on that power trend. Medium term, above the 50-day moving average. And long term, have that green sub arrow for the 200-day moving average. And that 50 days just starting now to get back above that 200-day. So the S&P is looking at getting that golden cross and that full bullish moving average alignment. So what happened today? Well, it was a very big rotation day. And, kind of what we saw today is potentially, some fund managers might have chased performance into end of quarter and some of these high flyers really accelerated to the upside. And then what we could have saw might be seeing today is that, they're selling some of the high flyers and rotating into different sectors. Potentially what they see as Q3 themes and just some laggards started to pop back up. But again, one day doesn't make a trend, but some notable moves, some notable volume. So we're gonna, track in the coming days, see if these sectors continue higher or is it just a one-day wonder. Alrighty. And you can see with the final numbers, right? 21 over 21 list down 3.88% on the day, 21 red. Haven't seen that in quite a bit. Turbo 12 as well, down 4.87% in all 12 of them red. Big 8 up 1.72%, or sorry, down 1.72%. RG8 down 0.61%, S&P flat, and I put the RSP in bold. Again, that's a sign that there was rotation. It was a strong breath day with RSP being up 1.17%. NASDAQ was down 0.84, and then you can see rotation into some value safety. Dow Jones up 0.96%. UNH had a nice update. Mid caps standing out as well, up 1.27%. Russell 2000 getting back above the 200-day moving average, up 1.03%. 60/40 stock and bond down 0.12%. GROTEC flagship portfolio GROTECTION down 1.05%, and TurboTection down 2.06%. So let's get into the charts. And we'll start with charting the S&P 500. And another reason why we have a core holding in the S&P 500 is that it captures all the rotation. And that's why this was roughly flat on the day versus the NASDAQ down almost 1%. But again, tight inside day. We had 3 strong days up in a row at all-time highs. And the S&P is 2.6% above the 21. So a little bit extended, but again, just breaking out into new highs. So what we're going to be watching is any pullback to the 8 EMA, 21 EMA, 6,000, if that comes into play, should hold for the bulls. RSP, super nice look here. Nice break out of this consolidation breakout today, and that's just good for overall market health, right? Rotation is the lifeblood of a bull market, and that's certainly what we saw today. So good to see RSP breaking out. QQQ down 0.84% coming into the 8 EMA, rejecting this, 550 spot. See if that holds. Next spot is the 21 day. Mag 7 pulling back as well, similar with tech. Dow Jones, really nice move here. And again, this is another, some of these laggards, safe haven names people are buying today. And you can see 4 days up in a row, super strong. Now short term, bit extended, but we'll see if this continues to show relative strength or comes back in. Mid caps, another good sign for the market breaking out of this base. Russell 2000 finally above the 200-day moving average, and that's really good to see. Our expectation was that some of the with IWM up 1% and leading, some of the high beta names would be stronger. But again, that could maybe they weren't because some of the funds were selling some of these high flyers, and many of them have doubled since the April 7th low. So some just need maybe a well-deserved breather. ARC pulled back right to the 8 EMA, still looks fine. Leaders outside negative reversal, and a lot of leaders, specifically from the nuclear AI data center, pulled back, and that's kind of what you're seeing with this FFTY here. The VIX pretty muted on the day, flat. The dollar just in a total free fall, but maybe potentially, trying to put a hammer here at the low, super oversold. Gold, sitting right at the stack of all these moving averages here. Gold stocks again kind of popped up, closed near the lows of the day. Silver just consolidating in a base here at the highs after this big base breakout. Bitcoin pulling back a little bit. See if the if price can hold the 50-day if it gets there, but again, just still in a in a range. Got a clear downtrend line there. Bonds tight day. Same with TLT and rates pretty not too much of a move today either. Alrighty, that's the interasset correlation. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape. News-wise, we got ISM numbers this morning, PMI, and then the big, beautiful bill passed the Senate. There's a half day on Thursday, and the market is closed Friday. Today's keys are watching the S&P versus the 8 EMA and the all-time highs. Holding the 8, sitting right at all-time highs. The Qs held the 8, sitting right at all-time highs as well. And the Russell 2000 finally getting back above that 200-day moving average. So really good line in the sand. Good above, bad below. So we'll see if that holds into the rest of the week. Up count treating today as a consolidation day, 7 days above the 8, 47 days above the 21. And sectors wise, ITV, home builders with a huge move today. And I'll get into that when I go to the charts. Huge volume as well. XRT retail, you got some of the safe names like Kroger, Ollie's Bargain, strong trends, having a nice day today. Regional banks, similar chart to IWM. Real estate, XLRE, biotech, another rate sensitive sector. Financials making new highs. Can't really be bearish. Financials are strong, and now you got regional banks participating. And then TAN, solar back above the 200-day as well. The Widowmaker solar, not too many stocks there. NXT is about the best looking one. And then weakness wise, URA saw some pullbacks in the power complex, some of the uranium names, Bitcoin pulling back, and then tech and communications were weak on the day. GROTECTION today, trimmed Palantir and GEV. 1.27 RVAB, minus 5.17 open heat. TurboTection today. Offensive trim on Hood, added to Coin and Reddit, sold ALAB and trimmed NBIS. 1.63 beta, 4.86% open heat. Bottom line, big rotation day with money flowing into small mid caps, rate sensitive, and value. Alrighty, let's get into the charts. Alrighty, so on the topic of some of the high flyers pulling back, Palantir is a good example. It dumped into the close on Friday on the rebalancing and closed quite ugly. You can see that candle here. Had an inside day on Monday and now breaking the 21. And again, this is one of the high flyers in the AI, so potentially funds are selling this one. See how it reacts to the 50-day moving average, but starting to pull back, maybe just a sign that this needs to base out a little bit. Other GROTECTION trade was trim GEV. Now this one falls in the power complex, and sometimes you'll find that once a sector gets into the number one rated industry group and it's been there for a while, that's a sign that the sector is extended, right? The number one group is going to have the most relative strength. So inherently, they're going to get extended. And eventually, stocks in the group have to pull back. And GV's been on a super strong run, nearly doubling from that April low. So, trim that one in GROTECTION. But again, close back above the 21 as well. Some volume. And look at some of the other ones, right? You have SMR. Look, kind of breaking down a little bit, close right at the 21 day, might just need some more basing. Oklo, speculative one, again, kind of breaking down from the shelf. NNE is another one, right? You can see all these names are down today, and some of the utility power producers, VST is one, multi-bar break, but sitting at the 21 day. So again, even, 6, 7, 8% down days, many of these names close above the 21. So good line in the sand for the rest of the week. All right, TurboTection took an offensive trim on Hood. This was a triple-digit gain. A couple of reasons. Yesterday was the biggest expansion move on highest volume ever. Starting to get a little bit climatic. It kind of violated this upper trend line right here. And today, gapped up and faded on huge volume, rejected that 100 psychological level. So took a trim here. Maybe this one just needs to base for a little bit, take a rest. It's been on a big run. Still an awesome stock, definitely a leader, but again, could be entering a period where it might want to base a little bit. It's been on a super strong run. That was Hood. Let's see. Sold A Lab, just no traction here. Tried to get back when it bounced off the 200 day, had a nice fall through, rejected 100, and then came back in. And then trimmed NBIS. Again, another good picture of the volatility. This is another one that's been on a strong run. Just, up day, down day, up day, down day, up day, down day. It's just been trading really erratic and it's got a big range. So we took a trim here. We'll try the rest of the 21 day, see how it acts around there. And then added to coin. This one kind of faded. This reclaimed this reclaimed 342, which was IPO week close, and then shot up, got back above 50, and then just kind of faded with the market. And then Reddit, this is one that we added to as well. This is breaking out from this base and then was falling through, closed pretty well, considering a lot of the beta and momentum names got sold off pretty hard. So that was trades. Let's take a look at 21 over 21 list. And again, it's been a long time since all 21 of them have been red. So that is also something we're certainly monitoring. NBIS covered that. Axon, 5 bar break to the downside, breaking the 21. Not a great look. Spotify coming back in, 3 bar break, sit at the 21. Net, again, like a 5 bar break to the 21. And that's the common theme that we've been seeing today is some big outside reversals on volume. So something to monitor. CRDO, another one, pulling back to the 21. VST, EQT, failed breakout coming back into the 50-day. GEV, covered that. CoreWeave, this one starting to roll over a little bit, putting in lower highs, struggling, see what it does at the 21. Another high flyer that's been on a huge run that probably needs some time to base. Coinbase sitting right at the 8 EMA. Palantir covered that. Light, just pulling back for now. DoorDash outside reversal. CCJ pulling back to the 8. NVIDIA pulling back to the 8, top of the base. Zscaler pulling back to the 21 and 300 level. VEEV pulling back to the 21. Shack, nice tight day at the highs. Food stocks acting pretty well. And again, less volatile, so held up good. PWR, in that heavy construction, pulling back to the 21. Hood, even I'll just show, this was all the way up at 100 almost, and then came back to 90, closed mid-range. And then Uber tight. This one's looking pretty good under that 93.60 pivot. And again, didn't get hit as it's not, pure tech, pure AI, pure data center name, so held up a little bit better. That's the 21 over 21 list. Let's take a look at the Turbo 12 from biggest losers. Hinge Health, recent IPO, big outside reversal down 12%. New companies can be volatile. LEU, this is another one in that power uranium enrichment sector. We talked about this before. Actually, this chart is going to give me a good topic, is that, sometimes you see a pullback to the 21 and then you rally into that 8 EMA and prices kind of sandwich, and that's what we're seeing. So now it's going to kind of sandwich in between these two moving averages, and now we're going to see which way it breaks. Is it going to reclaim the 8 and continue higher, or if it breaks the 21, maybe has a trip down to the 50 or other areas of support. INOD can't break out through this 51.79. KTOS starting to pull back. Sezzle, bearish engulfing. M-Piece coming back into the 21 day. Dave, many of these stocks could definitely use a breather. Qubit, inside day. GH hanging out at the highs. Oddity, just sitting in this range for now. AAOI starting to flag here. And then Lemonade kind of starting to flag here too. And what you kind of see with the 21 over 21 list and the Turbo 12 is that a lot of names have struggled to follow through. Despite the indexes making new highs, a lot of individual names, break out one day, then just give it all back the next. So it's still been fairly choppy for a lot of these names, and especially today. But let's take a look at Where did the money go today? ITB, huge volume today, breaking a big downtrend line, had that power of three setup, obviously below the 200-day moving average. But again, this is a step in the right direction if this sector is going to bottom. People might be looking in the future with rate cuts, but can't deny this move today. Now is the three times ETF, and look at all the names are under the 200-day, but again, very similar patterns, breaking out big bases. PHM's one, Toll Brothers probably the leader here. Again, big breakout from the base. You have KBH, big downtrend line break. So home builders were definitely the star of the show today. Another one is regional banks getting back above the 200-day. Very similar chart to IWM, but really nice move here. DPST is the three times the ETF to play this. Let's see. What other? Biotech kind of faded a little bit, but again, this one tried to emerge out. This should perform with if IWM continues higher and rates pull back. It's got a pretty clear triangle getting tight in this triangle right here. See if you can break out, maybe make a trip back to the 200-day. And then you had TAN. This is the solar ETF. Again, just been in a downtrend for a while, breaking a big downtrend line, getting back above the 200-day moving average. NXT off the top of my head, this is your best solar name. All the other ones like First Solar, below the 200-day, they don't look great. So this is the best looking one. And this is a new IPO as well, big IPO base. Hasn't really been able to get a clean trend since the IPO. Circle was another tech name that actually held up pretty good, putting the hammer, reclaiming the eight. So we'll see if maybe this one, gets back through 200. Again, been on a big run as well. UNH, rotation into value today, safety. This is a big component in the Dow. This is breaking through this, tight range, but again, very ugly chart. Got a declining 50 and 200-day moving average, but again, notable is up 4.5% on the day. So yeah, the definitely an interesting day with all the rotation. Haven't seen a day. Oh, XLP, that's another one. Haven't seen a day like this in a while. XLP, it's rotation to more safety names. And then you can see SCHD. This is the dividend one. Again, big pop here. And SPLV, low volatility, again, coming through. So, haven't seen a day like this in a while with this much rotation. And what we talked about today is now it's going to see, is this going to continue or is this just a one-day thing? But some of the growth leaders certainly pulling back, some of the beta names, a lot of failed breakouts, a lot of failed follow through recently, and that could just be a function of them being a little bit extended. So we're going to be monitoring this rotation, monitoring some of the leaders. They are starting to pull back, so could be offering a good risk to reward, or they're just entering a period that they need more time and need more basing. So that is what the market is telling us for now. That is everything I got for today. That is going to wrap it. You can always contact me at connor@revereasset.com or reach out to me on Twitter at connorjbates_. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate all the support and have a good night.